Guys, welcome back to another episode of We Love Pets. I've got some great guests in the studio with me. We've done some great PetX talks that will be coming to you guys, or it's already aired. With our schedules all over the place. But if you guys want to join the conversation, please feel free to reach out by commenting down below or reach out on all the social media platforms using the hashtag We Love Pets. You can reach out to myself at Producer Derek or to Pet World Insider in general at Pet World Insider. But our guests, I want you guys to introduce yourself. You guys are from Scouts Honor. You?
Pete Sterling, Vice President.
Macon Brock, President.
And you guys have a wonderful green product for the pet world. It's kind of the new thing. It's this new stuff that's going around that can really change the pet world the way we know it.
Yeah, I mean, we're really excited about it. One of the things when we first got into this business was looking at what existed out there, and there wasn't a perfect solution on the shelf. A lot of what we were running into was the older enzyme technology or citrus oil-based cleaning solvent technology. And I think we saw an area for improvement, and we've jumped on it, and we're really excited about it. Our product's great, and the brand's doing really well.
Awesome.
It's been pretty exciting for us, yeah. It's a good time for Scouts Honor.
Perfect. Now, what we love to do on the show, we want to basically check your credentials and make sure you guys love pets. That's kind of how this show works for us. But I kind of know your story a little bit of how you kind of got started with this. But let's start off over here with you. What is your introduction to the pet world? What was your first pet? I mean, what got you started with this?
You know what's kind of funny is that Pete and I had another brand before we started this. It was a sunscreen company called Waterman's. And prior to doing that, I had written 2 business plans. One was to be in the grooming products in the pet space. But I'm a surfer and as well as a dog owner and, well, lizards, bunnies, birds,
the
too.
whole spectrum.
But anyway, yeah, so it's always kind of been on the back burner to be in the pet space. At the time, I was a little bit younger and surfing was important. And so for whatever reason, we went into the surf market first and we got to circle back around once we sold the brand and got into the pet space, not in the grooming side, but the cleaning side. So saw the opportunity to start there and run with it. But yeah.
He's pretty nuts about French Bulldogs, though.
So that's
I
this
do.
is the
I
thing with him.
love French Bulldogs, but I mean bunnies, lizards. Yeah,
You've had a full scale
we've
of
got
different stuff, yeah.
we got 2 geckos, 2 lizards, 3 parakeets. We got a whole gamut of different animals in our house. So
awesome, Pete. So you kind of shared a little bit of your story in your PetX talk. Wasn't your first pet though. So. Well, or am I wrong on that? Was that your first pet? Or
No, actually, that was my wife's dog. But my first pet was actually a cat.
Okay.
I mean, we had lizards and things like that when I was a kid, and goldfish. We rescued a couple kittens off the side of the road when I was 7, and that was my first real experience with having my own pet. But I've run the gamut as well. I mean, I was big into saltwater aquariums for a while and fish, and I've had my loyal Labrador Retriever with me for 16 years before he passed on. And right now I've got, he's supposed to be a Yorkie. He's not a Yorkie. He's kind of, I'd say he's half Ewok, half Jackrabbit, named Oliver. But I think he's a Silky Terrier, to be honest with you. Never bothered to check.
Awesome. Can you tell the audience that doesn't know the story behind why Scouts Honor started with that pet and kind of share a little bit of that? Because I think that's something important that most people realize in the pet world, that most companies are started by a pet, but I know there's people out there don't realize most of us out here are because of the pets that were in our lives. So kind of go a little in depth with how that all started for
you.
I
mean, honestly, I think that it started with Macon and his love for just basically surfing and pets.
Okay.
The story that I told earlier about how my wife and I lost an animal to using a chemical we purchased at mass retail, just not being uneducated and not knowing what we were getting, that wasn't really the impetus for the beginning of Scouts Honor, but it was why I took it so seriously and why it was so important to me personally that the non-toxic, environmentally friendly, and socially responsible aspect was there the whole time, just part of the DNA of our brand.
Perfect. So let's hear your side of it and how what really inspired you to get Scouts Honor started.
I mean, honestly, he really did do a good job of bringing it up. I mean, this whole California Green Chemistry Initiative is kind of what started it, and just, I mean, you hear entrepreneurs talk about things all the time. You see a space, you see a ability to do better than what's out there, and we've got a great value proposition in our manufacturer and what we're able to do, but it's really what's in the bottle. We're great at making things look pretty and whatnot, but really what sells it is itself. I mean, it's once people try it and use it, then they'll see for themselves. But it was just seeing that opportunity that what people were doing, we could do something different and do something better. So it was born out of that California Green Chemistry Initiative, and that's where we got started.
So from my experience in the pet world, I know it's one of those things where we take for granted that our dogs or cats are walking on surfaces that we might just use a regular household cleaner. We might just, and not think about the impacts. Like, how important is it for us to be aware of like what we're using to clean our surfaces, to clean our house for our betterness, but like, how important is it that we make sure that what we're using is proper for them?
I think it's really important. I mean, my personal experience aside, in the state of California, you now have a certain level of consumer protection that's in place thanks to the California Green Chemistry Initiative. But prior to that, and in other states right now, you can use a chemical that has a high VOC, it's volatile organic chemical content, and this is going to basically off gas as you use it, and those fumes can cause inhalation pneumonia with small animals, something close down to the ground. And I mean, just knowing that, or just the residue that's left behind from a cleaner could be toxic. If it's a petrochemical, you've got petrochemical residue, you've got oil basically, on your surface that you just cleaned. And that's something you're not talking about a human being, where I rarely come in contact with the bottom of my foot unless it's some strange incident in the middle of the night. But, animals are all constantly licking paws and cleaning themselves. And I think that's where a lot of the problems lie, and something that we just need to be more aware of.
I think the key thing we need to make sure is educate yourselves on what you guys are using out there, because those kind of things can affect. We might not see it in that short term that we're with our pets, but in that long term, we're seeing things that happen that can relate back to some of those products we might use. And I'm guilty of it. You're guilty. We're all guilty.
There weren't a lot of options out there before. So
we're not saying you guys are doing bad by owning your pets and using. That's not the case. But just be aware, educate yourself of those other options out there, and you might have that pet a little bit longer with you.
Exactly. And every day we're getting better at it, and it's just being aware. So if we can create that awareness and educate people that there is something better, that's where I think we're doing a good service.
Awesome. You guys have brought this up a couple times now, the California Green Chemistry Initiative.
Sure.
I know a lot of our viewers aren't going to know what that is. Can you guys go into a little bit more about what that is and how that spawned what you guys are doing?
He kind of said in his talk earlier, but I mean, it really made a lot of people go back and reinvent what they were doing. Most people had to reformulate in order to meet the codes. One thing that they had going against them, they had a set price point that they were already dealing with. We basically came in and said, regardless of price, we're not bound by that, because we're going to create our own market based on product. And we didn't have to work backwards and figure out, well, it's on the shelf being sold at this. I can't afford to do that at this rate. So we were able to come in and just make the best product that we could right out of the get-go. And it shows. I mean, we've picked up such momentum so quickly. I think we did do a good job with the look of our packaging that resonates with people. But really, at the end of the day, I mean, Pete likes to say, we're 99% product and 1% looks. And so if we can use those looks to get people to pick it up, once they start and they give it a shot, they'll understand what makes us different, and that we really do the job and we do it well.
Yeah, I mean, the California Green Chemistry Initiative at its core is simply an initiative passed, so it's a law in the state of California that means that we're going to have safer products. If you manufacture a product like this in the state of California, it's going to be a safer product. It's going to be more environmentally responsible. It's going to be less wasteful in the way that it's produced, the production, and even down to the materials you provide it in. So like the container that I give you, it needs to be more recyclable. Just more responsible all the way along the line, from conception to consumer. And honestly, it's a good thing. I mean, it's not something that a chemical manufacturing community is incredibly happy about, but from a consumer standpoint, I think it has nothing but good things. It's going to have a huge impact. Yeah. And I think that, we're not the type of people to say we're the only ones who are doing this. We're the first, and we hope that we're the first, that many more follow us and choose to use the superior type of products. The great thing about having this new technology is that you can, like for instance with our product, you can use less of it. The fact that is we don't use enzymes or bacteria, that it never expires, means you never have to throw the bottle away. It's never going to go bad. And, you can pull this out from underneath your shelf 10, 20 years from now, it's still going to work. And just being less wasteful through the entire life cycle of the product is our goal. It's the state's goal now, and I think that it's going to, hopefully the country soon follows.
So I'm going to bring up a funny thing is I was just listening to a podcast. I think it was crack.com's podcast, and how we take things to like think they work, but they don't work the way they are. And the interesting one I took away was soap. It doesn't actually like clean our hands the way we think soap does. Yeah. Now, the thing with your guys' product though, it's there's only one ingredient or compound, or what's the best way to put that with how your product works, and that the way that works, it's different than what other cleaners work. Can you guys explain a little bit more on that? Because I'm not explaining that the best. So
we have several formulations within our thing, so it's not just one ingredient.
Okay.
I mean, so depending on what formulation you're looking at, there are other ingredients, but the main thing behind it is our BioCore, which is it is a soap. I mean, essentially, so it's surfactant and a surface tension reducer.
Okay.
So we are different than say an enzyme, and we don't think enzymes are the best way to work. I mean, for one, like Pete just said, they expire. Yeah. So you have to have a certain type of enzyme to work on a certain type of stain. There's a lot of variables that a consumer would have to understand and to know in order to pick the right solution for whatever stain they're trying to clean. And so we're like, listen, our stuff is going to be good. It's going to be good today. It's going to be good tomorrow. You can use it if you've tried 10 other solutions prior to us. It doesn't die. It works, and it works right away. So it's immediate gratification. And that's why I think we're resonating so well with the consumers. And that it's, it gets the job done. It's quick, so it's easy. That's
easy. And people want something that's powerful. They want it to be easy to use. They want it to be safe to use around their the home, and I think that's really what we offer. That's what everyone strives to offer, and we're doing a good job of it.
Awesome. Let's get back to the pet side of things, and I think we've got your credentials now. I think you guys both love pets. I think you guys have experience that way, but I want to know, is there like a story from some of the like people out there that you kind of heard from some of the people using your product from their pets and how it's maybe changed their lives? Is there something that way you might want to share with us?
Oh, Nick's story. Let's talk about Nick. We're going to talk about Nick, our operations manager. So
right, cool.
Nick's wife was pregnant when he first came and started working with us, and they have a cat. And the way that their living room layout works out is that there's a litter box. The litter box of the cat is literally right behind their sofa.
Okay.
And when she was pregnant, the sensory overload thing got pretty crazy. And so we started talking to him about coming to work for us, and he started using our litter box deodorizer. And essentially, there was no negotiating. By the time after they used it for a couple of days, it was like he was going to work for us. It was just trying to figure out how, because his wife was just wanted a free supply of the stuff for the rest of her life. It's overwhelmingly, I think people's response to the product has been great, and we get people that call us all the time and tell us, like today we just had somebody on Facebook commenting how they'd had our product for 2 months and hadn't pulled it out from underneath the shelf, and finally did, and lo and behold, it gets rid of the urine smell by their front gate where the dog always goes to the bathroom. And we want it to improve people's lives. Like the whole idea of conscious consumerism is not something new, right? I mean, and you see it in Tom's shoes, stuff like that. What it really just boils down to is the people to really get more out of life, make the world a better place and we want to do that for our customers. We want our customers to do that with their purchase, and just to be conscious and aware of how their purchase improves the world around them, or the impact it has on the world around them. For us, the way we want to improve our customers' lives, that's our first and foremost thing that we want to do. And I think the way we do that is we make just life with the pet more enjoyable. Those little mistakes can be little mistakes.
To call out another company that I think is great is Seventh Generation. Their whole method and their naming is how we're trying to model our company in the same way. You're not doing things today; you're doing things for the 7th generation from now.
Okay.
So when making the right choices and doing it, and so and that we haven't even talked about feeding animals, but that's part of our social cause. Is that with every bottle sold, we're feeding an animal for a day. A shelter animal. So that makes us feel good, and
Yeah.
you know, it's one
It's
more
that giving
thing.
back.
Yeah, it's a
Yeah,
giving
yeah.
back, and so it gives people like, okay, if they don't know our brand yet, don't have the experience with it. It's that one more thing, like, okay, we put the tag that on there that says better, faster, stronger, because essentially that's how we fit on the shelf. We're better, faster, stronger than anything else on it. But then, if they're still leery about it, it's like, well, at least they feel good when they're at the cash register. I know I'm feeding the animal.
Yeah.
So that's our social side, and we try to model our company. I mean, I really looked at the 7th Generation company and how they built it and what they were around, and that's kind of how we're trying to model Scouts Honor as well.
Yeah. Anything that gets your customer thinking when they walk up to the shelf. I think it's going to benefit everybody in the long run. Because you have so many options these days. And there's a lot of good options out there.
I mean, there's always that thing. I think it's a broken record that I keep saying is that it's education. It's knowing what we've done from the dogs in the past or the pets in the past, and learning from those mistakes and making that next one better. And I mean, like you said, there wasn't options before. There wasn't those things that we're all kind of guilty of, and not to negative us or anything in that sense, but just to be like, hey, elevate. Let's elevate the pet world. Let's educate the pet world. Let's do something that's just that little bit better. And I mean, you're lucky your dog was with you for 16 years. I mean, if you could have had that dog a little bit longer, you would have. I mean, that's the thing.
But that's kind of what you're getting at, where the response people are having. I mean, I did actually have that dog for longer than I anticipated because of the fact that we were in the process of developing this product. I could use it on a daily basis, and it just, instead of having this massive chore around that aspect of that time of his life,
Yeah.
it was something that I could just get. There's a solution right there. I can just take care of it. It's done. I can get back to just spending that time with him because they're not around forever.
That's the toughest thing that we've always come across, and we know we're going to outlive our pets for the most part. And the thing that we always go is we know we can't always afford the best food. We can't always afford the best cleaners in their sense. But if you can do that little bit better, I mean, if there's another 2 weeks with that pet that you have,
all they want is your time.
That's
All they want is your time.
Huge difference. So
Yeah.
I think we've definitely established you guys love pets. So I think what we've come to the part is where we're going to ask one of you guys to pull from the dog bowl. We might even, if we get enough time, we'll have both you guys pull a question. But if you guys want to submit questions to the dog bowl, please feel free to leave comments down in the section below, or reach out to us on social media using the hashtag #WeLovePets. You can reach out to Pet World Insider at Pet World Insider, or myself on all the social media platforms at Producer Derek. But guys, if one of you guys want to pull one of those questions,
Go ahead, Pete. It's looking like you.
Let's see here. Macon, what is one thing in the pet world you wish wasn't there?
Oh my gosh.
This better be good.
Yeah, I know. It's one thing in the pet world I wish wasn't there. Why are you asking me? Why didn't you answer that one?
I mean,
expirable.
I think abuse.
Oh, animal
honestly,
abuse is a great
that's
one.
the thing that just drives me absolutely crazy. Because there's not a bad bone in an animal's body. I mean, there's just not. I don't honestly think it's from a lack of capacity. I just think it's from a lack of purpose. Why would they be angry? Why would they be upset? And the people that take advantage of that and hurt animals they're cut from the worst cloth. It's unacceptable.
Yeah.
Did I just take this whole thing south?
No, not at
Okay.
all. Not at all. Not at all.
That's a good one, though.
I think the lack of education on spay and neuter is, I think, my go-to on that. I wish more people, there wasn't that lack of it. I think
Right.
I wish more people were just spaying and neutering their pets.
Yeah.
And we didn't have this overpopulation problem. I think that's the direction I would go with it. I mean,
That's a good one.
Yeah, that is a good
That
one.
is a good one.
I didn't mean to steal your guys' thunder,
Yeah,
but
no.
No. That was solid. Yeah.
all right. So I mean, you kind of stole off of Pete's. I mean, do you have one out there, or? Well, I'll let you slide. I mean, you guys both share the same one.
Yeah, I'm gonna stick with Pete's because that is one that actually touched us just this week. A friend of mine has got a company and a dog walking company, and somebody left a dog on the beach and said, "Please take me. I can't." And they took him to the vet and had been in a dog fight. And he spent all this money. I don't know if they had it chipped or what, but the owner then called him up and said, "I want my dog back." He's like, "Absolutely not. You don't get your dog back." It obviously was, she was fighting in it and probably couldn't take it, which is just so sad to think of, and what, like Pete said. So anyway, that was something that just happened this week that is so unfortunate and sad. So.
Yeah, that's kind of the situation we're in, and I mean, the only thing we can do is educate and be here.
Yeah.
I mean, talk a little bit about it, share, and hopefully the people listening and watching are doing a little bit better in the pet world, that we can hopefully one day that's not a problem that we have. But all right, I'll be fair. I'll let you get a question also. I mean,
Oh God!
so
Are you kidding? I'm so bad at these things. I'm not. All right. Knowing what you know now, Pete, if you could go back in time and one thing in your pet's life, what would it be?
Change one thing?
yeah.
Change one thing in my pet's life. Oh, man. My pet's got it pretty good, man. He comes to work with me every day. I probably would have spent a little more time with him before I had my kids.
All right.
Because I think that was he's kind of not with me personally, but you know, he doesn't get the same time and attention that he used to get before we had kids, and I think he enjoys the interaction with them. But at the same time, I look at him and I'm like, man, you know, we could have gone on a cool trip or something like that.
You still can, and there's still time.
I
dump the
know,
kids off for the weekend at grandparents and take the dog out. I mean,
I really do.
Dogcation.
I enjoy the drives to and from work these days.
There you
It's
go.
just me and him.
There you go.
That's so you still find those special times, but yeah, that would be my one thing. Would be
We should have
spending
brought him
more time
here.
with Oliver. I know he's
Yeah, we're
not here.
dog-
He
we're
was
a
in.
pet
He
friendly
was in the
studio. You
office.
could have
I mean,
brought
we should have. It's only a mile away.
He's got a little surfer hair right now though.
Yeah,
He's swimming all night last night.
Maya comes down to the studio and she's running around. I'm like, I can't work with you running around here all day. And then finally, like about 2 hours of just running back and forth, she finally settles down. I'm like, okay, finally I can get some work done in here. But yeah, I mean, that's I think one of the best parts. Is like first passion is always camera, second passion is the pets. So it's like, great. Where else can I have
Yeah.
both of them in one place?
Right.
So all right, one thing you would change if you could go back in time and change that. In
Oh,
any of your pets' lives. It doesn't have to be the recent one. I mean, any of it.
you know, my dog probably dearest to my heart was a golden retriever that I had growing up. It was actually my sister's boyfriend gave it to her for graduation, and she couldn't take it to college with her.
Yeah.
So it really became my dog, and so she lived till she was 16 years old for a golden retriever, and it was then I went to college, which I could have taken the dog. I could have done it. I'm just you know, her circumstances. She went to a city college. I didn't. You know, so it was much harder to raise
it
a
off,
dog
yeah.
in the city. But I should have taken the dog to college because the first year she probably passed away. She waited for me to come with severe arthritis, and she jumped off the ground when she saw me, and it was so awesome, you know. But then, yeah, as soon as I left, she passed on. So it was sad.
Yeah, that's.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, tough one. I don't know how to respond back to that one,
Yeah.
but yeah, it's one of those things. I think the way I would answer this question is kind of on the same lines of that. Is diet? I would probably change. Like when my first dog that we ever had, I was uneducated. I wasn't
Yeah.
working here at the company, so it was one of those things where we fed not the best food. And
Yeah.
I mean, I can't blame myself, but I if I could go back, I would change, knowing what I know now,
Sure.
doing a little bit better diet. It would still be a very kind of commercial based kind of solution, but I would look for better ingredients. I would look for better.
Think about how
so-
much food has changed in
Yeah,
the last
yeah.
5 years. I mean, you
It's
know, that was
huge, yeah.
10 years, or gosh, I'm old. Longer than
Dating
that.
yourself a little
Sorry.
bit.
but yeah, I mean, food's changed such a
Yeah.
massive amount in the last even 5 years. I mean, you see all these raw diets and so many things happening in the market, which is great. You know, I mean, and there's new science coming out on that all the time as well.
Yeah.
So.
Awesome. Thanks, guys. If you guys want to submit questions, please feel free. We got so many more great questions, so many guests coming. But this is your guys' moment. I'm going to give you guys a little bit of soapbox that you guys can stand on and share with our audience, and hopefully, like, they can take some knowledge away. So if there's a topic or there's some information you want, like, the pet world to kind of get from this, I mean, I'm going to give you guys a couple minutes to kind of share something.
You know, well, I would just say just educate yourself on the products you buy. Try to do the right thing for yourself, the environment, and for those around you, and for your pet. And, you know, just lead the life that you want to lead, you know.
Yeah.
So,
I
Pete?
kind of echo the same thing. I think that there are a lot of options out there now. Don't get too stuck in a rut with the one thing you've been using. Like we just heard, food's changed dramatically in the last 5 to 10 years. And I think in our category in cleaning, you're going to see a massive amount of improvement in terms of quality of product and environmental responsibility over the next 5 to 10 years. And we're really happy to be on the forefront of that technological drive. But it is time to start questioning everything that you've used and done in the past in terms of your standard odor solutions. There's a lot of imperfections and specificity that come along with the dominant technology that's out there right now in enzymes. And I think that there are going to be a lot of great solutions that come out, and it would be a shame not to see more people trying them out.
Awesome, guys. Thank you so much for being a part of the show. I want to make sure everyone can learn more information about your guys' product, about you guys, just see all the fun stuff you guys are doing. Is there like a Facebook, a website, a Twitter, something that we can reach out to you guys?
We have it all. Scouts Honor. Actually, Instagram is Scouts Honor Pet, right?
So, there you go.
Scout with you can hashtag us, but scoutshonor.com, spelled with a K, SK. Yeah. So that's where you can find us, and we have all our links directly off there. But please check us out.
Awesome, guys. Thanks again. If you guys want to join the conversation, please feel free to reach out to us. Leave comments down below. You guys can use the hashtag #WeLovePets on all the social media platforms. You can reach out to Rob or anybody else here at Pet World Insider, at Pet World Insider on those social media platforms, or you can reach out to me at Producer Derek, and we'll be more than happy to submit your questions to our dog bowl. If you guys have questions about our guests, please feel free to reach out to them and see what they're doing in the pet world. But guys, again, until next time, love your pets. I mean, we all do. And thanks again for joining us. All right, guys. Thanks
Derek.
Thanks.
Awesome.